Okay, and then the factoring. So let's talk about factoring, which is a huge part of calculus, is your algebra. They're going to slowly get more difficult as we work through here. First one, I'm not going to spend much time on this. Factors of 12 that add up to -7 are -3 and -4. There you go. Moving on. Okay, this one is your difference of cubes formula. 125 is 5 cubed. And I did give y'all the formula. If you are subtracting 2 cubes, a cubed minus b cubed, it factors to a plus b. I'm sorry. The terms are ab, then a squared, ab, and b squared. And then the signs in the middle follow the little mnemonic device SOAP. So the SOAP, SOAP, the same sign is always, the first sign is always the same that we start with. So if it's a cubed minus b cubed, it's the same. Next one is opposite. So if we start with subtraction, it's addition. The third one is always positive or always plus, however you want to interpret that. So there's your formula. And in this problem, a is x and b is 5. So when I factor that, it's going to be a minus b, so x minus 5. Then a squared, so x squared. Change the sign, opposite, so plus a times b would be x times 5, or 5x. And then always plus b squared, 5 squared is 25. There's your answer. 42, another trinomial. And when you have a leading coefficient that is not 1, I'm a fan of trial and error. I know there are some other techniques out there that involve like multiplying your a and your c and all this. I'm not a huge fan of that. So we're going to do trial and error. And let's see. Oh no, just real quick, let's try 4 and 2. 3 times 2 would be 6x. 4 times x is 4x. That would give me a 10. I need a 14, so that wasn't right. Let's see, I need other factors of 8. Let's do 2 and 4. I know I just tried 4 and 2, but if I do 2 and 4, now the 4 is multiplied by 3, which gives me 12x. The 2 is multiplied by x, which gives me 2x. Those do combine to a 14x as long as they are both positive. And I can make them both positive by making them both positive. And then just double checking real quick, 2 times 4 is 8. 3x times x is 3x squared, and we've already verified the middle term is correct. So there we go. 43, I see 4 terms. I see nothing that factors out. There is no GCF. And so I'm going to group, and it is important to remember that when grouping, you need to make sure you group the signs in front of that first term in each pairing. So make it plus a -9x. Out of each set of parentheses, we factor what we can. So I take an x squared out of this first one. Make that x plus 5. Here I can take a -9 out, and that would leave me with another x plus 5. And the object is to get parentheses that are identical, because then you can factor out the x plus 5 as a GCF, as a common factor. So I take out the x plus 5, leaving me with x squared minus 9. And then, as is always the case with factoring, you never just assume that you're done when you do your first type, because x squared minus 9 is a difference of squares that will continue to factor to x plus 3, x minus 3, always be on the lookout for that. And the x plus 5 just kind of hangs out there and comes along for the ride. And then 44, and I think that's the last one it is. This is the big ugly one that is the end result of a product rule, which we're going to do later in the year. I see 2 big terms. So I'm looking at this big term here, that big product, plus this big product. And then in each of those products, I see that they have an x minus 2 in common. I see they have an x plus 1 in common. And they even have a 2 in common if you look at their coefficients. I have a 4 and a 2, so we can actually take a 2 out of that. So we're going to take a 2 out from the 4 and the 2. Of the x minus 2's, this term has 3, this one has 4, so I'll take 3 out. Of the x plus 1's, this one has 2, this one has 1, so I'll just take 1 out. And then that's going to leave me with, now look at all the stuff, out of the 4 I pulled a 2, so that leaves me with 2. 2 times 2 is 4. I took out all of the x minus 2's. I took out only 1 of these 2 x plus 1s. So I took one of them out, that leaves me with another one. Then plus, moving on to the next big term, I took that 2 out, it's gone. I took out x minus 2, cubed, that leaves me with one of those 4. So I have one of those, and then x plus 1, I took that out. And then in the parentheses, or in the brackets here, I can distribute that x, make that 2x plus 2, plus, and technically you're distributing a 1, but plus x minus 2. And then I can combine the 2x and the x to give me 3x. And negative 2 minus 2 cancels. That's kind of cool. So these two cancel out, leaving me with only a 3x. And then all of this other stuff in front that I pulled out at the beginning, that just comes along for the ride. So 2x minus 2 cubed and x plus 1. Alright, and we're done. If you want to, you could multiply the 2 and the 3x to get a 6x, and everything else stays the same. There's really no advantage to doing that, other than it just kind of looks better. So if you didn't do that, that's okay. I'm okay if you give me either one of those two. Perfectly fine.